More than 10 organizations came together to host a community conversation on offshore wind yesterday evening. And the meeting was held at the Center for Professional Mariner Development in Bucksport. Both supporters and opponents of the project proposed off the coast of Searsport filled the room. Local elected officials appeared alongside leaders from organizations like the Natural Resources Council of Maine, Maine Audubon, as well as several labor groups and more. Organizers of the event say offshore wind will benefit the state by contributing to clean energy sources and job creation. Some Mainers say they still have more questions than answers.
The big thrust, I think, that I want people to know is that while I have spent the last 51 years of my life watching industry leave Maine, floating offshore wind is an industry that can start in Maine. The port that gets constructed in Searsport, every individual building it, whether they are a union member or not, will receive union scale pay and benefits. So this is an economic development opportunity for the mid-coast of Maine that is unparalleled. We've never seen something like this.
And we just think, this whole process is being moved along very quickly and a little too quickly considering some of the data they don't have. And we just would like to see a little more research before they keep going forward.
These groups are planning a series of similar events in the upcoming months. The next one will be held at 5:30 on the evening of September 18th at 42 Prospect Street in Searsport.